All right, welcome back to Ep.7 of the Unpolished podcast. And today, as promised, we got Mack on here.
We got a chick.
Finally, we had to switch it up a bit.
Too much testosterone in the room.
A little too much testosterone on the last few, so definitely happy to have you on here.
Happy to be here.
So we're pretty much be carrying on from episode 2. We're talking relationships. Definitely what we're going to be gearing towards today. So
Little female perspective. Give
And-
you guys.
we just have Daniel here awkwardly sitting in the middle.
Well, and this episode's been very requested, right, by a lot of people, because everyone really seemed to like the Jeff one, because Jeff went off on that episode. So now we're gonna get the other side, the female version, correct?
Yeah, that's right. The right side. No, just kidding. I don't mean that. I'm kidding.
That's honestly, I mean, we got some good feedback on that one. We got some.
It's good to have both perspectives.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because we have we got some good feedback, but obviously we want both perspectives. So
I don't know if mine's right, but I think it is.
as long as you think it is, that's what matters.
That's all that matters.
I guess we could start with the best things about being single and the best things about being in a relationship, because that's something we touched on kind of early in the last episode.
Okay, well, being single, obviously independence.
Yeah.
That's
So I guess, sorry, I should ask, what's your relationship status right now? Is it an interesting one?
it's an interesting one. So I guess I'm technically not in a relationship, but I am seriously seeing someone from my past. So that's kind of interesting. I took about 8 months of being single. I've learned a lot about myself throughout it. And it is, people take for granted how important spending time by yourself
Yeah,
and
definitely.
kind of evolving is, and how fundamental it is for your next few relationships. Dating multiple people might kind of be a weird subject for everyone, but it really does get you knowing exactly what you want in someone and what you want for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like from my experience, I've only seen two different kinds of people, where you're either in a relationship since you were 16, or you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I feel and you have to remember, I categorize relationships and all that in kind of two different forms. So I call it one, dating. So that's just where you're going on dates with people, you're hanging out, it's nothing serious, but then you're in a relationship. So I've dated multiple people, but I've only been in 2 serious relationships.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and I guess, Daniel, you can relate, because I know you haven't been in many relationships. So until now, you're in a serious relationship, but until then, you're familiar with figuring it out.
The way Mac put it is I've never actually put it in that term, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot clearer version. You know what I mean? There's terms to everything, because everyone has there's no specific titles to everything, right? But
Not everything needs a label.
I
Not
agree with
everything
that.
needs
But
a
yeah,
label.
correct. But yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess from the female perspective, being single, since
single-
that's recent for you, you were single for a while.
Yeah, 8 months. And then prior to that relationship, it was almost a year and a half. And, I had my fun. I went out. I did this past 8 months that I was doing it. I actually did quite a bit of soul searching. I kind of went on a more spiritual journey, which I feel is becoming a really big thing. And, just kind of figuring out where I am in the world, not doubting what's happening. I started, once my breakup happened, I looked at things with a completely new perspective of, okay, this person was taken out of my life because better things might be coming in. And if my cup is completely full, there's no room for anything else. So yeah, I spent a lot of time. Yeah, I went out, I had my fun. I dated. I got to be just this fun, kind of crazy girl, which I feel you need to do in your early 20s. And then you kind of get to the point where you're okay, this was fun.
Or when you figure it out, then you obviously prioritize things differently, right? So
yeah.
If you prioritize yourself and then you find yourself with someone, it just changes your perspective naturally.
It's exactly how people say when you're not looking, it comes in, is exactly right. Yeah. When I first went through that,
That is so true. Just to chime in.
No, it definitely is, because I'm a huge person into manifesting, and if you're focusing too hard on something, it's not going to happen. But when you just kind of relax and just let it come as it should.
It happens.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree. So kind of you're saying that I guess aside from the more like spirituality of it and finding like yourself and what you want. Like, do you? I guess like I've known you for like quite a while now, and like in
Oh,
different.
you've seen me grow.
I've seen you grow into the woman
Quite a
you are
bit.
today.
Yes.
But I'm just curious. I'm also curious about like, do you find like, do you have more fun single? Like, I don't know how you feel about like.
It depends. You know what? Versus being single versus being in a relationship, if you're with the right person who
Then you don't have to compromise that.
doesn't take your independence away from you and wants you to be able to go and have those experiences, whether it's with them or with your friends, and they're supportive of that, you're going to have fun regardless.
Yeah, true. Like, I'm definitely someone who likes to like have that experience with like who I'm with
100%.
as well. But it's nice when you're not feeling like you're like obligated to like, and nothing's like forced. Like, you don't have to.
Well,
like-
and I'm sure you can agree, my friends are the most important people to me. They've been there for me through like thick and thin. And if someone told me I couldn't go on a girls' trip with someone, I'd be like, well, okay,
Get the fuck out.
yeah, that was fun. But if they're supportive of you, like going out and doing whatever, then you're gonna
and like
being in
you know a
relationship
lot
can
of
be
my
fun.
like very close friends, and you know that like they're a pretty like opinionated bunch. So like if they said something against somebody, like look, like we fucking hate this person, like you're not noticing this, like that's definitely like I definitely take that advice. Like, do you think the same or? Like, 'cause I feel like a lot of people like. I feel like a lot of people are like blinded in relationships. You know what I mean?
Oh, love goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know people who've had it. I've had it for sure.
Everybody has.
But your friends' opinions obviously should, be a concern for you, and you should take it into consideration. But at the end of the day, like, no one really knows your relationship as well as you do. So I think you just have to be able to look at both sides of,
Because you experience things like in private and like that connection.
Yeah, those
different. Other people don't experience
times,
that.
people don't see that.
And just with your friends, if you have proper friends, that we could probably go on another episode. But just for today's episode, if you have the right friends, you'll, like you said, you're gonna take everything that they say like seriously, very seriously, and you're gonna want to believe everything. But at the same time, when you're in that relationship, you're gonna see other things that they don't see, right? You only see as face value. Your friends see as face value, right? So
I also think it's important to remember, like, the conversations say, your friend, like, you're dating someone, but you're constantly saying all this negative stuff to your friends. Obviously, like,
true, yeah. That's
you gotta,
it's also what you're feeding them.
Yeah.
So like if you're constantly bitching about who you're with and like kind of breaking them down, then like what are they gonna think? Obviously, if you're not like telling them about the good too. So.
But yeah, perks of being single, you got that independence. You're not really having to concern yourself with someone else's emotions. You're your biggest priority, which can sometimes be hard for some people when you are in a relationship, is if you're used to only taking care of yourself and not having to worry about, oh, well, if I go out and I don't text someone, like, no one's going to be insulted. But when you're dating someone, you can't just...
Yeah, and like I've been single for a while now. Obviously, I've been in like some situations with like women in the past like couple of years. But I've just noticed like I've been in a relationship since I was like 19. So like up until now, I haven't really been like this single. So like I've noticed like I love not answering to somebody, like because recently I was in Kelowna or like go to Calgary. Like, I don't have to ask her. Like it's not like you ask, but you know what I mean. Like
you should never feel like you have to ask someone if you can do something. If you are in that situation, get the hell out. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's just I just noticed it.
But
Like,
you should also feel comfortable disclosing, hey babe, by the way, we're going to like this restaurant tonight, and then I think we're gonna head to this bar. It's not about hiding anything. It's
no, just letting them know, right? It's not asking because that's a completely different thing. But yeah,
I just feel like it's not like you have to like. It's just nice doing your own thing. I guess is how I'm trying to put it. Like it's nice that I can just up and do that without having to like take anyone else into consideration, which is kind of it's selfish, but it's just like something I've never like really experienced till now. So
well, and if you haven't experienced it for a long time, especially like, well, how old are you now?
25.
25. So you've spent your early 20s always having to worry about someone else's feelings. Yeah, you're gonna want to be able to take the time for yourself and be like, what do I like? What do I want to do?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess like to transition into relationships, then like what's I guess since you're in one recently and you're in one currently, and I've been in my fair share. So what's the best things about that?
Oh my gosh.
Like I know like you're saying like I'm just kind of putting you on the spot because you're saying
No,
like
that's okay.
You're like, oh, like I'm having fun, I'm doing this, I'm finding all this out. So like what value do you find in that? Like, are you somebody that like finds a lot of value in like being with somebody or like sharing those experiences?
You know what? I've always been a very independent person, and the person that I'm with values that as well. So he has been nothing but supportive of me. He wants me to go travel the world with my friends, and you know what? Also like do stuff together. And that's the fun part. It's someone you can like
balance.
Yeah, it's just it's so nice having like a healthy balance with someone, being like it's turned into this like best friend kind of situation, and but they just want you to like reach your full potential. He is so good at that. Like he wants
Yeah.
me to be my absolute best self all the time, and like he has high expectations for me that I haven't always had for myself, and that's nice.
Yeah. But like in a constructive way, obviously.
Yeah. Not in like a way that he like
Not like in a controlling way, but just in the sense of
he
like
sees
he
my
wants you to
potential
do better.
and he
'Cause
wants
if
me to
you see it, then he supports it and wants you to be in the same
Exactly.
boat.
Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? Like being in a relationship now, I'll put you on the spot with your girlfriend in the room. What are the best things you've noticed? Because I'm just saying, like I know you haven't like been in a long-term relationship until honestly recently.
Correct.
Like so.
I don't know. I just like going and like doing stuff with people, and when you have that like actual connection with someone, right? I don't know. It's really,
Also the
for me, it's very-
comfortability.
Yes,
of it.
exactly. But yeah, it's very, I don't know, hard to explain, but it's something completely different, right? It's a good feeling.
It's also
Yeah.
fun. Say I don't know. I don't know if this is such like a low standard of what's fun in
Okay.
a relationship, but when something like happens, you say you're at the grocery store and like you saw some people fighting in the grocery store, you can call them up and be like, "Oh my god, like guess what just happened?"
Yeah.
Like it's just
your
like,
best friend.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just the person you tell anything to.
And you can spill all the tea too, right? Back
Oh, I
and forth.
spill
You're like,
all
oh my
the
god, I
tea.
can't wait to tell them this. Like,
Yeah, so I feel so bad for my friends. He like literally knows everything.
Yeah.
And he loves it. He feeds off it. He's like my life's so unproblematic. So
Yeah,
I get to
exactly.
find out all the
Makes
tea
him
all
feel
the
great.
time.
Like
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, my life is so easy." I don't know. Like, yeah, I've experienced that too. Like, I definitely like to have somebody that's like kind of like a best friend, like kind of dynamic. It just makes it like way more fun.
You know, but it hasn't always been like that with us.
Yeah,
So
true.
before, when we were first seeing each other, however long ago, it was this weird, like we didn't fully want to open up about who we were. And that's where our kind of downfall came in, is that I'm going to be honest, I kind of forced him into a relationship the first time. So sorry. It was just like a drunken time where I was like, "Are you going to make me your girlfriend?" And he was just like, "Oh, this is how we're going to do it, okay?"
Yeah.
So it was just, I feel like when guys get pushed into a corner is like, you know, we still dated for a while and it was still good, but we weren't being our complete most vulnerable selves. And after, you know, being apart for so long and like kind of talking here and there and whatever, we got to see kind of the ugly sides of each other. So now at this point we're kind of like, well, I've seen you at your absolute worst, so I got nothing to hide at
Yeah,
this point.
it's only up from there.
Yeah, no, and now we're very vulnerable with each other and like honest. And as hard as it was probably the best thing that happened for us, because I've never had like such a good open communication and honest relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess like that's something else I wanted to talk about was like kind of like from my side why men are like going ghost in relationships, I guess, or like getting into a relationship is like you said, when they get pushed in a corner, because you're like you kind of want that sense of freedom, and like people panic. Like we were talking about this
control aspect.
Yeah.
And men are such egotistical beings, and they want things to be kind of on their terms. Sorry to say, but most, you know, it's true. Like they want to know that they're the one that made that choice, not someone else. It's
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
as that's why when we were saying like, "Hey babe, like can I do this tonight?" Like,
Yeah.
well then it's just gonna kind of create more of like a sneakiness and kind of like shadiness to a
yeah,
relationship.
you like want to go against that.
Yeah, so if you feel backed into a corner, you're not going to react well. So I think that's why most men would probably go ghost in a relationship, because they want things to be on their terms, which if you're a smart woman, which we are all smart women, but you can kind of train them like a dog, like Bingo over here.
Like bingo. But you're also saying you were forcing him into a relationship, so to speak.
I was the first time, yeah, but now I've kind of been like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're
But
back here for
I'm
a
just saying,
reason.
like, just to counteract it, it's just that, like, it's like you're also like in that situation.
It's
It's like
a mental game
Yeah.
you got to play. Like,
fair enough.
yeah, I'm at this point. I'm kind of like, yeah, you're back here for a reason. You do things whenever you're ready. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not
fair
going to
enough.
rush you.
So you guys like don't really have like a title.
Well, I wouldn't. I
Say it
guess
right, the
not. But
camera's
I
not here,
mean,
it's okay.
yeah, I guess not. But I mean, I guess sometimes I scare when I'm like, "You're stuck
Yeah.
with me forever. You tried to run away once. That's not happening."
So why do women go ghost?
You know what? I've done it a few times, and it's not. I'm one of those people. I'm like, I would never want to waste someone's time because I've had it happen to me, and it's shitty. Like, you just got to be completely like upfront and honest with someone and just kind of be like, I'm not feeling you, and like I just don't see this going anywhere. But some people get kind of like they get butthurt about it, and it's
I was just about to say I could see like a lot of people like, oh, I just want somebody to be honest with me, but some people can't
handle the honesty.
can't handle that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't say it. Like in my experience, like I feel like that is something that like a lot of women do is like they don't just say it. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know where that comes from because like obviously I can't relate.
Yeah.
But I just like they just don't say it.
Sometimes I am good about it, and you know there has been the occasional time where they'll be like, "Hey, like, do you want to do lunch again?" And I'm just like,
Yeah.
"I'll let you know."
I'm in
and
the
then I
shower
just never
till
say
next
it.
week.
Hey, sorry, I've been showering for the last 2 weeks. Finally, all clean. But no, there has been times where I've just been straight upfront and honest, and some people have reacted really well to it, and I've just been like, I think it would be just like not who I am and not my most authentic self for me to carry on with this. I feel like we're just not a good fit. I think you're a great person, but this just like I'm one of those people where like I know right away.
Yeah,
Like,
fair.
It's the first interaction. I'm
You
like,
should though. That's 'cause I'm the same. Like you should know.
yeah, you should.
I was gonna say, like it also has to like. What do you think about chasing then? Like, 'cause that has to do with it too. Because I think a lot of guys hate to admit it, but love to chase.
Oh, they love the chase. That's
Yeah.
why you.
But no
you
guy will
gotta
ever admit
play
that.
the game. It's all a game, which is, everyone always says they're like, why can't everyone just be honest? Like, why did we have to play the game? The game is fun. You know
And
what?
everyone does it.
And everyone does it.
You're not fucking self-righteous saying you've never played the game.
No, and
'cause
you
you've played
can't
it and
be
you've
too
won and you've
available
lost.
for someone right away. Yeah, maybe
And
once
you're so true. It is fun. It is super fun.
you gotta want someone. You gotta like, yeah. And you know what? Sometimes you gotta play that. I'm out on a Friday and I'm not gonna text you back for 3 hours so you can guess what I'm doing because you know what? It makes them want you more. As hard as that is,
True.
It's true. It's a fun game. You can't be too available for someone right away. And then
So,
once you
like,
get past that point,
what
then
goes
it's
through
like,
your
whatever.
head then? Like if you're seeing somebody and they're not, because you're saying like, I'm gonna play the game where I'm going out and I'm not texting you. What's going on with you, Max? Sitting at home, you got your cup of tea and you're waiting for him to fucking reply because you know he's out and you know exactly where he is.
Well, at first,
And you have your phone on you.
honestly, we kind of have this relationship where, well, sometimes I'll literally be like, buddy, I know your phone's in your left pocket. Answer me right now. Sometimes I actually just don't care. I'm kind of like, I know you're out with your friends. You're chilling. I don't need to check in with you every 5 seconds because we're going to have the same conversation over. What are you doing? Sitting at the bar. 30 minutes later, you still sitting at the bar? Yep, obviously. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
new
think's
drink.
changed? Like, you don't need to have the same repetitive conversation. I have that relationship where it's like, we don't need to talk 45
All the fucking
times.
time.
Yeah, a second. It's like, hey, I've called you 3 to 4 times today. We've texted throughout. It doesn't need to be. So like,
But like in the early stages, and you see that, what goes through your head? Like if you see like, oh my god, he's not fucking replying to me, and like you're trying, like in the early stages of a relationship, I feel like everyone's always like trying to like be cool and like play it cool and be their
Yeah.
best fucking self. But like what actually goes through like your head or like your experience with like I'm assuming a lot of your friends that are girls, they've gone through it, and you probably get like your group chat going.
honestly, my best friend, Cheyenne, can I say her name? She don't care.
Yeah.
She don't care.
It doesn't matter.
She's always been a relationship girl. Like, I think she was maybe single for about like 2 seconds, and then she's been with her boyfriend for like 4 years now. But yeah, I don't think she's ever really had to worry about that. I don't know. Most of my friends, I luckily have like a really cool group of girls who are kind of like, I really don't care about if these men want to talk to me or not. Like, if you want to talk to me, you're going to talk to me, and vice versa. And yeah, if I want to reply to you 5 seconds after, I will. If I don't have to. It's just like,
Yeah, like I strongly believe in that. Like, if you want to hang out with somebody, if you want to
You're
talk to
gonna
somebody,
do it.
you're gonna.
Yeah.
Like that's regardless, and people can make excuses, but
people do what they want to do. At the end of the day, like, you can try and justify it and be like, he's busy, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, if he wanted to talk to you, he probably would have.
he's gonna. Or if you want to hang out with somebody, it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it goes for both sides.
It
like, for
does,
sure.
yeah. If they wanted to, they would have. That's just how it is. Yeah.
So I guess like deal breakers. Like since we're talking about, I guess the early stages of starting something or dating around, and like all that. Like, what are your deal breakers?
I cannot stand someone who like
Can I pause you there?
yeah.
I love the. But anyways,
I'm
carry
dramatic.
on.
I'm sure a lot of people know that I'm a little dramatic. Deal breakers though. I cannot stand someone who does not want to get out of the party stage. They're like someone who just is like obsessed
Like
with
stuck in the mentality that they're
just
younger.
that young phase is so unattractive. And obviously, I am young. Like, I'm, like in my very early 20s. But I've always hung out with people who are a little bit older than me, 24, 25. So I've gotten out of that phase really quick. I had my fun when I was 17 going to Tribute underage. I don't know if I can say that, but
Tribute days.
Tribute's closed, so it doesn't matter anymore. But I had my fun, and at this point, you know what I find fun is going to a restaurant and then a cocktail bar. Like, I just can't stand
Yeah,
someone
definitely.
who's like, okay, boys, we go to Earl's Happy Hour, then we roll out, we're going
Yeah.
to the Pint, Greta shooting some hoops, picking up bitches. Like, I cannot stand that.
Yeah, it just kind of like something I've said before. For me, that's definitely a deal breaker. Is like when like again like it's almost the same way you put it. Like when they're stuck in this mentality of like I just want to do this. It's like
I need to
and
be the
that's-
life of the party.
and
Like,
like
I
you
need to be there.
can do that, but like then why the fuck are you trying to like
Date.
have a relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you know that you can't fucking do it.
Yeah, no, that's one of them for sure. I also will not be with someone who's complacent. Like, if you are,
No drive is another one I was gonna say.
you
Like
have to have ambition. If
Yeah.
you just like are okay with coasting, I'm kind of just like coast somewhere else. Like, I don't.
that could reflect on a relationship too. Like if you're just gonna coast, then what are we gonna do? Like
you
5 years
won't
from now,
evolve.
are
If
we
you're not
still gonna
evolving on
are we gonna
yourself,
do
you're
like
not
this?
evolving
Yeah.
together.
If it's just gonna plateau, then why the like it's a waste of time.
No, exactly. That's 100% what I agree. I think you have to constantly be working on yourself, because then the dynamic, if you're bettering yourself, then that's going to rub off on your partner and vice versa, and the dynamic is only going to get better between you two. If you are, or you know what, sometimes you could outgrow each other, but if you're not working on yourself, you're not evolving, and you're just going to stay in the same place, and it's just going to be
Yeah.
detrimental either way.
And like you were saying earlier, like something to like complement your relationship is like you were saying how you guys definitely want to like I'll just say have expectations, for a lack of a better way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Like have that expectation, like okay, you have this goal, like let's fucking do it,
Yeah.
kind of thing, rather than like just planning out your next like party kind of thing.
Yeah, and an important thing is, some people might call it negging. I think being accountable for your partner as well, being like, hey, I remember you said you have this deadline for work. How's that going? Like, make sure that you
reflects
support
on you too.
make sure that you support the work that they're doing, and keep them accountable, because that's, I think, really attractive when someone can call me on my shit and say, you said you were going to get this done, get it done. Like, this is important for your future.
Yeah. What would you say,
Warm in
Daniel?
here.
Like,
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating.
I feel you. I'm fucking like
I'm like,
I feel like I'm wearing like a Canada Goose fucking
it's so warm.
like down for you like deal breakers.
Well, we already touched on it before, but I think everything that we touched on just now is I completely agree with. Being the whole, what's the term, bar star? I believe everyone kind of, it's, I find you see those people that never grow out of their little phase, and they just continue on, and they don't want to admit that they're getting old.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to become an adult, and you're like, okay, like it's over. Like you're not cool anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, everyone, it's all the ego shit. Like when people are young, like they want to like you're popping bottles, like you're so fucking cool for like 2 seconds when you're tapping your credit card, but and I've done it.
Popping
Like
baby deck.
I've done it. You've been there when I've done it, but like
Oh, yeah.
everyone's done it.
I've done it. I've done
Yeah,
it
exactly.
too. Like,
It's just, but like you said, it's a matter of like let it fucking go, and there's
when
more to
it comes
life.
time to let it go, let it go. Like, you don't gotta live in those glory days forever. It's okay.
Everyone's got more glory days coming. You know what I mean? It's just a different.
It's just
way
a different phase of life that it's
exactly.
gonna be that for you.
I feel like it's gonna be more fun too. Like
I love the idea of like, having a smaller circle, and you're having like dinner nights at people's houses. Like, that's fun to me. Like having like doing stuff
I
like
feel
that.
that. I like doing that now.
That's my favorite thing to do. I love having my friends come over and like cooking for them. I'm a little Ramsay in the kitchen. Like, I love it. I think that's a good time.
Yeah, like I was just in Kelowna for like the last couple weeks with Ethan.
Ethan's a chef.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Chef's
Give me a nice-
kiss.
It's pretty much a goddamn episode of Chef's Table out there, and like I value that way more than being like, let's go to fucking Cactus Yacht Club every day and like do that shit. Like I'd rather go home, get some drinks, make dinner, like actually have a good experience with people, and not just like I don't know. It's such a waste to me. But
No, I agree.
And it's a completely different. Sorry, let me just push you out of the frame here. It's another thing to kind of explore, right? You've already done everything in your younger age. Like find someone else, and you can build through it, right?
Definitely. So I guess we can touch on getting back together with an ex, which is something we've. I don't know about you, Daniel, that you haven't experienced that yet, but
Hopefully never.
I hope I'm not.
It's kind of weird.
I'm definitely not wishing that on you, but I guess since like you're in that situation now, and like I've been in that situation, I guess recently.
Yeah. It's a weird situation, and you know what? It's probably one of the hardest things you have to do, depending on like what the circumstances were, obviously. But it's been really good for us. There is some times where I'm kind of like, wow, this is really hard, and sometimes you're kind of like, is this what I should be doing? Like you do have those doubts depending on like what the circumstances were, but it can also be a really good thing. And because we had so much time apart,
Yeah.
it's not one of those like we broke up for 3 weeks, we're back together kind of stuff. Like when you've actually taken that amount of time, you're kind of like, okay, we definitely are doing this like for the right reason.
Yeah, and like with me, I guess I'll just call it recently. It's just more of like something I remember saying that stood out was more like me saying, okay, I get that like we had this and we had that, but like I just find there more value in like clean slate than like have new experiences. Like why can't you just have something new? And I feel like a lot of people revert to like, oh well, this doesn't feel like it was before, and this doesn't.
It shouldn't. It should absolutely
Yeah.
not feel like
because
it
it didn't
was
work
before.
out when it felt like that.
And yeah, there's a reason why it can't be like that, because yeah, it didn't work out the first
Exactly.
time for those
Like
reasons.
I feel like if you're having better conversations, if you're having like, I guess like you can't change people, but people can, make a difference in a relationship. Like you're not going to change who somebody is, but you can change like the dynamic, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, people change if they want to change, and you're not going to be the reason they do. That's just how it is. But if you can kind of take your time, think about what do I want to be different, what are my new expectations for it this time, and like apply those, then you're going to have success.
Definitely. So I guess like what's like a deal breaker for getting back together with somebody then? Like you're saying like if it's under the right circumstances, like what's your advice to all the people like when should you just not fucking do it? Like under no circumstance you're going to get back together with somebody due to blank.
Oh, this is so weird.
See, that was gonna be my the same question I was gonna to ask. But like, is there a certain like in my mind, I don't think you should put too many like parameters around it, but at the same time, you should have like a line in the sand per se, and be like, okay, like
if this happens, not a fucking chance.
What do you guys want to know? Like, what? Give me a specific, something
Like,
specific that would happen.
For me, I couldn't do I couldn't do cheating. I couldn't do I couldn't do cheating, or I couldn't like if someone's playing games. That's a big one for me because that's literally just like gonna give me a fuckload of anxiety. So like as soon as somebody's like playing games, that's where I cut it off.
Oh, I got anxiety. Okay, so
It could be different for everybody, but
I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
take your
Okay.
Justin Trudeau long pause.
he just stares at the camera, long pause.
Okay.
We'll cut to commercial. This episode's brought to you by Mango White Claws.
Black cherry's better. Anyways,
Big facts.
facts, no printer.
I co-sign that.
Okay, so coming from someone who has been cheated on, I guess,
We're not going to say when. It could be anywhere.
anywhere, whatever, and has gotten back with someone that did that to me. You know what? It's so hard. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, but I also have been like, I'm either going to go full on and like forgive you, or I'm not going to do it at all. Like you kind of have to decide if you're going to either just like be like, okay, I'm forgiving you. It's the thing.
I would just say like for me, I just can't get over that like hurdle. Like I'm just somebody that can't get over it. I know I
it's
can't.
really fucking hard.
You're a
I'll
hell
tell
of a
you
lot
that
stronger
much.
than I am, so.
Sometimes you feel kind of dumb for it, but forgiveness isn't. I think people have heard this. It's very cliche to say, but forgiveness isn't a one stop. It's it's a journey, and some days it's really hard, and sometimes I get like a flashback to kind of like what happened and how it made me feel. And it's really hard some days to move forward and not think about it. But at the end of the day, since we've been back together, he has been like nothing but like honest and open with me, and has, like, you can never say something's not going to happen again, but like I've made that conscious decision to be like, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to move forward as best as I can. And when I have those days where I feel like that, I'm honest about it with him, and he's very understanding.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, for me, where I can't get over it is more like I'd be waiting for somebody to do it again. See, that's my. I don't know if that's an
I get
issue.
that. No, I get that.
I don't know if that's really a flaw or anything, but it's just like I could
It's
like.
hard. It's hard.
I'd always be like, oh, I'm just waiting for you to fuck up. So
I think if you are in that mindset, then like don't do it. But like I'm not thinking like that. I just
you're
remember,
thinking more like we said before, like clean slate, and these are the new experiences, and this happened. You acknowledge it. It's not like you're just gonna bury it, but it happened.
It happened. I've said that I'm like moving forward and like working through that. But if you're one of those people who's just like, sitting around being like, it's gonna happen again, then you can't be with them.
Yeah, I think that would be the complete wrong mindset to have. If you're having that thought, maybe just
avoid it.
toss that out and just start fresh.
Well, like we were saying before, like you're texting somebody, like you're texting him, like, oh, you're sitting at a bar, cool, da 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 da. But if you're thinking like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I know you're out. He's probably gonna do this, or she's probably gonna do that. Like, you're just literally gonna stress yourself the fuck out.
Yeah, and that, you know what? At first, that was kind of like a hard thing. Is like we were slowly like getting back into it, but it's like sometimes I would just be there being like, well, is he being honest with me? And then I thought, at the end of the day, if someone's gonna do something, they're gonna do it. And I can't change that, but I'm gonna change how I react. So I'm not gonna sit around being worried all day, because that's just gonna make me feel shitty, and I don't deserve to feel like that. I deserve to just feel my absolute best throughout the day. And I know that regardless of what happens, I'm still gonna be me. I'm still gonna be a bad bitch, and whatever. Like I'm just, you just kind of. Well, it's hard to move forward, but like sometimes it comes back into your head. But if you're like, sitting around waiting, not trusting someone when they tell you they're somewhere, get out of it. And I'm not worried. He's very open and honest with me.
So like my question about cheating is, who, okay, I'm we're gonna disconnect from any relationship we're in, but who's to blame when like if somebody like your boyfriend or girlfriend fuck somebody, who's to blame, the boyfriend or the person they cheated with?
There's two different scenarios that I'm gonna like talk about here. Okay.
I got a pretty straightforward answer, but I'll hold up.
100% the person you're seeing is to blame. 100%. No one technically owes you anything, but they owe you that respect to be like, if I don't feel like I want to be loyal to you or be in this, they need to leave. Like cheating is like one of those things that really fucks with your head, and it really makes you question your self-worth. And if you are willing to do that to someone, get the fuck out. But also, and if the person if the person you're seeing has cheated on you with someone and they have no idea who you are, that you even exist, then whatever. But if the person that they're cheating on you with knows you're around, and they do that, go fuck yourself too. That's not okay. That's not okay.
Okay, you pretty much said my answer is like, I completely agree. It's who you're with's fault, unless like they know you're in a relationship or something.
If the other person chooses to like do that with them when they know that you're
because I've been in a situation where like, okay, I've been cheated on, but I've also been in a position where I've slept someone that was in a relationship and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what the fuck? And then like I feel bad, even though like this is way back, but it was just like, it's fucked up. Because like, anyways, like to briefly say, like I think we've talked about this. Like we were hanging out, whatever. We were sleeping together. Like wasn't over a long period of time, and then we were driving somewhere, and she brings up like, oh, my fucking boyfriend, like, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And I literally just said, I was like, you can come pick you up. Like, you fucking kidding me? Like,
yeah.
And then I feel bad, even though like I didn't fucking know. Like I would never personally, because I've been cheated on. Like I know how it feels. Like I've been cheated on, so like I wouldn't do that because I know how it feels. But on the other hand, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I think if you are being like pursued by someone who's in a relationship and you know that, tell the person. As hard as it is and as shitty as it is, you tell that person, because it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it really is.
To like be on the other side of it and have maybe like multiple people know and you're the one sitting there in the dark. It's so humiliating because
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean.
I guess to like, we'll lighten the mood a little here before we start breaking out the box of tissue. I was gonna say, like, do you think there, like, we were kind of talking about this before, so like, you can word it better than I did, but like the disconnect between fucking and in a relationship. Like, do you think there's a disconnect
You
between?
mean making love? No, I'm kidding.
We only make love out here. We don't fuck. We
Nah,
make
just
love.
fuck. I don't think there needs to be an expectation that if you're sleeping with someone, you need to like want
Yeah.
something serious with them. I think fuck who you want, do it safely. We don't need any STDs or babies hanging around if you don't want them.
Plan B is expensive, but kids are way more expensive.
Sponsored by whatever condom company. Yeah, I don't think there needs to be any expectation that if you're sleeping with someone, you need to like want to pursue them after going to a relationship. I think maybe have a conversation between the two of you and be like, hey, this is my expectation. I want something completely casual. How do you feel about that? And if they're like, well, I'm kind of hoping for a relationship, then you kind of know maybe this isn't the best thing to be doing. You don't.
Yeah.
You want to be fair to both parties at the end of the day. Like you got to give a shit about people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was just saying, like, I feel like I have such like a, like, I didn't even know if it was a bad thing, but I don't think it is anymore, because like I've always had this kind of like disconnect between like sleeping with people and then like feeling bad because people want relationships, or like traditionally speaking, like we were saying before, like people still like wait for marriage to have sex, or like, yeah, I saw the cringe there and I agree.
You're not gonna test drive the car before you buy
exactly.
it.
You're just gonna buy the fucking thing.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I
Then
don't
then
agree with it at all.
It's like
but
your
like,
Mazda.
yeah,
It
it's
would
like
just
my
break
fucking
down.
Mazda.
Together 3 years, haven't fucked. You take it on the
Exactly.
road. Boom, broke down and
As
cooked.
soon as I get in her, it's fucking
Yeah,
done
it's not
deal.
working. So, no, yeah, I think
There just doesn't have to be that
No,
connection. Yeah.
you don't-
I think a lot of people are like feel that way nowadays
But I think sex is crucial in a relationship.
in the relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think. What was I even going to say? Yeah, I just think there has to be no expectation that if you're sleeping with someone that anything needs to be serious, and if it gets to that point where someone does start catching feelings, and you know that the other person like isn't like that at all, like make the right choice, walk away and like save yourself first. I don't know.
From like friends that I've heard that have a lot of that where it starts where you're just sleeping with them, and then if it does want to get into a relationship and someone does start catching feelings, it's a part of the conversation you got to have, right? Just put it out in the open, because it's only going to screw things up. Or just
Well, and this
be
happened
awkward,
to me when I was a little bit younger. Is that I wasn't exactly like sleeping with anyone, but I was just like I'd always like we'd have little like make out sessions and like go back to like their place or something, and I really liked the person, but they would be like, well, I'm not like really interested in a relationship, but I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, if I just keep, being like that
You're
easy
like, oh my
target for
God.
you will like me. And I'm like, that
It's
is
like,
not the case. If they don't want to date you, they don't want to date you, and you're not going to.
I gave you a hand job at the Safeway parking lot. We are in a
What are
relationship.
you doing on your Friday nights, Jacob? What the fuck?
That's, you know what, you guys don't do that?
No.
Okay, fine.
Sobeys is way better.
I'm more of a save on. I take her to Whole Foods.
Planet Organic,
Yeah.
expansive.
So Planet Organic closed. That's kind of sad.
What? Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Why?
completely,
Because no one
completely
can afford.
completely unrelated. But I'm pissed because that's where I get the best bottles of water from. So, and I'm a snob for that.
What bottles of water?
Flow.
Oh, I love
So
that stuff.
good.
The alkaline. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. It's good.
fucking
It's so
awesome.
smooth.
So I guess like, I guess I can transition more into like with relationships and your friends, because like we're both saying, like, okay, so like we're both saying we have like small group, and Daniel as well, like we have small groups of friends that we're like super fucking close with.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess the importance of your friends liking your partner or vice versa, like if you're
It's
the
also
partner,
how they treat them, or if my like man's friends were an asshole to me, I would know that my man's talking mad shit about me behind my back.
True.
Because the way they talk to you is a
Yeah.
representation of how your partner
it's a
talks about
reflection
you.
on how they talk, because
Yeah.
they only know what they're told.
Exactly.
Unless
And
they
don't
hang
get
out
me
with them a
wrong,
lot.
I know that I've been called crazy. And I am a little bit, but that's okay.
But that's
Rightfully
beside the
so.
point.
But that's beside the point. But if like they like were making fun of me or teasing me in like a more disrespectful way, I wouldn't go at them. I'd be like, "What are you saying?" And
Yeah, true.
it's so important to be respected, I think, by your partner's friends, because if they don't, if their friends don't respect you, they don't respect you. Case and point. Mic drop.
Fair enough. Another chef's kiss.
Don't drop the mics; they're expensive.
Yeah, they're really
These are brand new mics.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna leave it there.
But I guess like on the other hand of that, it's are you somebody like that wants to have that good relationship with somebody's friends? I'm assuming
100%.
so. Like fuck.
I think it's so important, like having my friends like being around that and bringing him to events that I have and having people know him and respect him is so important to me. And I think hope vice versa.
Like you want to be a part of it. Like
If they don't want to incorporate you into their life and bring you around the people who they are spending the most amount of time with, then like what's that saying about your relationship? I think you don't have to be invited to every boys' night and be invited to this. Like you should be able to go and do that stuff on your own. But like if there's like something going on where other people are bringing their partners and stuff like that, or it's like there's multiple, it's like a co-ed kind of meetup or something like that.
Yeah.
You should bring your partner and have them come around and have a good time. Like it's important to incorporate people into your everyday life occasionally with stuff like that.
Yeah. So I guess to pretty much sum up like the relationship life, we would agree that it's more you got to find the balance, wait for something to happen, don't force everything into your life.
Don't force them to date.
Don't force them to date.
It doesn't work.
Hey, you're still
people.
together now. It worked.
It kind of worked, I guess, technically.
Fuck.
That's going in the win column for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess like from the single life, like come on, you're a beautiful young woman. Have you been flown out? Have you been offered to been flown out? How are the DMs looking? These are the things I want to know.
See, we actually have a girl on the show now, so we can actually ask them. Like,
We don't get fuck all for. You should see my DMs. They're dry. It's just memes from this guy. I want to get flown out. I want to be pampered.
There was this one guy. He's like a rep for like Supreme in New York, and it was like from a young age that he like randomly found me, and still like from time to time will be like, I want to make you my girlfriend. I will fly you out to New York. You can meet my mom, blah, 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 blah. And I'm kind of like, it's nice, but I'm never going to do it. Like, I
like,
don't.
This is fun.
It's fun to receive. Like, it's flattering, obviously. And like, who would, if I, wasn't committed to someone, then you know what? Maybe I would take on that.
Take the check.
Yeah.
Daddy Trudeau's giving us money.
Yeah.
Daddy
and
in
if I'm
New
not
York's
paying
giving
for
us
the
money.
flight, then I might get on it. And then there was like a designer, who you might have seen on Essence. We're not going to name any names because I'll probably get
Fair enough.
sued or something.
In case, God forbid, your relationship doesn't work out, but just in case you got to revert back to the Essence.
Yeah, I don't want to get a lawsuit, but you like this one guy, like a designer from LA too. It's all the designers, which I'm not opposed to because I'm like free clothes.
Fair enough.
But he was like offering. He offered to fly me to LA. I had this one guy from Edmonton who I don't even know. Yeah, he just messaged me like 3 months ago being like, do you want a sugar daddy? $500 a month.
A month later, 1,000 question mark.
I'm like, how high can I get this offer up to? I never replied.
waited out.
I never really, I never replied to them, period. But it's fun.
leave them on red, and then it starts going off by 500 by 500. See how
He's like, fuck, okay,
If it
2?
doesn't match Serb, I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the battle of the daddies.
Yeah, no, but some of them are so persistent. I never really feed into it. I've always kind of just been like, well, before when I wasn't seeing someone, I obviously was just kind of like, I would be like, yeah, maybe sometime, like we'll figure it out. And
like,
now,
send me some money. I got to pay my phone bill so I can keep texting you.
that would probably work. Not gonna,
but I'm one of those people that I'm like, once I'm with someone, I'm like deleting the hose out of the phone. I don't need them anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I don't really we don't keep in contact anymore, but I have my fun when I'm single. I like the flattery. I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble after this.
No, you're good.
it's still crazy to me that stuff actually happens. It just blows me away. Like it just.
People got money.
People got money.
People don't know how to meet people.
I think people just like showing off.
Everything's a pissing contest. Totally.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Say pissing contest?
Yeah, what?
They're just pissing on everybody.
Yeah, I guess.
Have you ever been to Miami?
No.
pissing contest everywhere.
I believe that.
LA people, like the dynamic
Oh
of
my
people
gosh,
in
the
LA,
LA
pissing
dynamic is-
contest.
Yeah.
You got this watch, I got a bigger watch. You got this car, I got a fucking bigger boat. Like, you know, it's all just a pissing contest.
Oh yeah, I believe that. That's funny.
So I guess like another thing I wanted to talk about was like nowadays, because people are obviously trying to meet people to one extreme through DMs, offering them money. Like, how can I always
That's
wonder
if
like
you really got no game. That's your. That's
how
your
can you
last
not
resort.
like you're so bad at meeting people that you have to be like, I will give you an allowance to hang out. It's like if you were like the kid in school that's not very popular and your parents gotta pay them to come to your birthday party.
Is that a thing?
Oh my god.
I think it is.
That sounds so sad.
It was for me, and I don't want to talk about it.
Shut up.
I'm fucking with you.
I was like, oh my god.
But like, I guess like, would you like if given you're single, would you like ever want to meet somebody like off a DM? Do you prefer like do?
I have for
Fair.
sure, and sometimes it works, and it just depends how they go about it, obviously. But I think the best way, or like the most, like kind of it's a little bit more special, is if you meet them like randomly on a night out or something like that, or
Or
like,
I always say like through friends is like
Yeah,
how
a mutual
how I like
friend
to meet
is
people.
always
Like,
a-
me and Ethan were talking about this. Like it's so much better when you meet people through friends
yeah.
because then like you know that
You also know
on
you
some
can all
level
be around
yeah,
each other. And,
on like some
you're-
level they got to be cool too because like if they're
Yeah.
fucking with them then like you
No,
at least have a bit of an
exactly.
idea.
Well, and the way me and my little chicken nugget met, I call him a chicken. I don't know if he's gonna be mad at me.
It's okay, there's no
So
names.
we
We're
met
good.
last year, or in 2019. We were going to Vancouver because it was like the Travis Scott concert. It was like me, Cheyenne, Shelby, and Caitlin, and only Shelby and Caitlin went to the concert. Me and Cheyenne were like, we don't really give a fuck. We're going to Travis Scott, so
Fair.
we're just gonna, yeah. We just went and like went to bars and chilled, and then met up with them later. But so me and him were actually on the same flight together, going to Vancouver. Didn't even notice each other. I was sitting next to one of his buddies, and then later that night we were at the same bar, and he like came up to me and he was like, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, Mack, what's your name? And he said his name, and I said it wrong. I was like, oh, your name's blah blah blah. And he's like, no, it's
No, it's
this.
blah
And
blah
I'm-
blah.
and then I said it wrong, and then he was like, no, it's this. And I said it wrong again, and he's like, and then I finally got it right. But
Yeah.
it was so cool because I'm like, we're like on the same flight. We meet each other here. It's like it sounds like stupid to say, but it was almost kind of like the universe brought us together,
Fair
meant
enough.
to meet. But
So you're
yeah,
saying you'd rather meet people in person.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just like more of a sign that I'm like we were at the right place at the right time kind of thing.
And it's
Unless
a
they're
meet cute
psychopaths.
story, right?
Yeah, it's a cute story. I was telling the lady.
You're gonna make him cry over here.
Yeah, I was telling the lady at the nail salon this. I went and got a pedicure like last week, and she was asking me about it, and I told her. And then like the other lady was getting her toes done across the way, and she's like, "That's so romantic." And I'm like, "Wait until you hear how drunk I was when it happened."
Yeah.
Not very romantic.
Wait till you hear I chained him in the basement and forced him to be my
No,
boyfriend.
we went back to like the hotel I was staying at. I left Cheyenne at the bar. She didn't have a room key. We were in the dirtiest hotel. I like found this cute.
This is in Vancouver?
Yeah, I found this
Where
cute
is it?
one. It's called Moda. It was like this cute boutique hotel I saw on Expedia, and I'm like, this looks great. And we get there, and I'm
He
like,
was just a good photographer.
It was disgusting. The room was like all red and freaky, and he got me a ride back to the place, and I was just like, oh, just like come hang out. Like obviously nothing happened because he's a respectable boy, but I felt so bad. He's probably just sitting in this room looking at me. I'm just drunk, like about to pass out, and like this gross red room with this gross carpet. It was not a good look.
Not romantic.
And then Cheyenne's calling me, being like, "Where the fuck are you? I don't have a room key. I heard you got
I
a
don't give
guy
a
in the
fuck
room."
about this guy.
Yeah, she was like, "Get him the fuck out!" And then for the longest time, he's like, "I don't want to meet Cheyenne. She was screaming at me over the phone." I'm like, "I swear she's really nice. I promise."
Don't worry, yeah, she's super nice.
Oh Lord.
Romance, chivalry is not
We,
dead. my
we
friend.
clearly know a lot about romance.
Yeah.
We're ones I advise everyone not to take any
Don't
advice from this episode.
Actually, yeah, we should
Take it
not
with a
be
grain
doing
of
this
salt.
podcast. Ignore us.
This was a bad idea. I guess we're almost hitting an hour on this one.
You're
We've been
kidding.
trying to. Yeah, I told you it flies by.
It does. I feel like we've only been like doing this for
So
20
I guess
minutes.
you might have to rip up a part 2 because, like, we're trying to keep it under an hour. I feel like it's a lot easier to watch. So
Either way, I mean, the point I'm trying to get at is meeting someone in person is much more fun and authentic. But if you meet someone online, that's totally cool. If
Yeah.
someone wants to slide in and like vice versa, that's fine. I've met really cool
So
people
common now.
through that.
Yeah,
And
it's,
sometimes you don't go to the same places as the people you meet online, and that's okay. And so how are you supposed to meet if you don't have your Bumble or your Tinder or anything? I've
Yeah,
actually
fair
never
enough.
really used. I think I used
I'm
Bumble
not
for
big
like
on that,
a
yeah.
day. And I was like, this is
It's boring.
too many men holding fish. I got to get off here.
yeah, so that was actually going to be like one of my last questions, like dating apps on the woman's side, because like from my perspective, like honest to God, I'm not one to like really use them, and like I've never like truly like met a lot of people on them or like taken anything seriously. But like from the woman's perspective, like is it something that like a lot of like your friends used, or like you just said you haven't really used it? Like, is it just kind of like for
My
fun?
friends, we used it in Kelowna once, only so we could find people with a boat. And that
Oh
was
my
about
God.
it.
wow.
Ethan, I hope you're listening because me and Ethan just talked about this. He screenshots me every bio. This is so fucking funny that you said that. He screenshots me every single bio that says, "Me and my girls are here for the week. Hit us up if you have a boat." And
It works. We got on a boat. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it
Oh my
worked.
fucking God. I can't believe you just said that.
Hey, this
We
is about
just
being
talked about
honest, unpolished.
Yeah, fair.
So-
I love it, but it's just too good because we were just talking about this.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing my friends have used like dating apps for.
Yeah, okay, fair.
The city is so small at this point. It's honestly really hard not to like meet people like through like just mutual friends and like
You
stuff
can
like
go
that.
anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
If you're not
and
a
meet
fucking,
someone.
you just don't be a pussy and fucking talk to somebody. Like,
Well, some people are introverted and can't do that, so
fair, but would they even go out in the first place then?
maybe.
Okay, if you're out and I'm saying you're out, you're the douchebag with the fucking bottles. They never talk to girls. It's always a bunch of dudes.
And then they DM you later being like, I think I saw you tonight.
Yeah, it's like, what? You couldn't say hi? You're busy tapping your credit card for that Ciroc.
Yeah, it's too bad he's snapping his Ciroc bottle.
Yeah, seriously.
How can I talk to someone when I gotta get the right angle?
It's like, you didn't see me. I had the fucking fireworks and the sparklers coming here. I had the Belvedere on the plane. Like,
That's so funny. I remember I like was gonna do bottles one night at Brewery just because it was like after a concert, and I put out like a mass post on my Snapchat being like, if you want me to carry out a Belvedere bottle in an airplane, holla at me tonight. Like, I
Holy
think it's so
fuck.
funny. They'll put them in the weirdest shit, like a toy car. I'm like, that's just,
I hate it.
it's not a look. Just make it subtle.
So I guess like that's my last question will be, like I don't know if you still do, to be honest, because of all this stuff going on. I haven't seen you like out working like at restaurants, but are you still serving?
So I actually have chosen not to go back to Cactus yet.
Fair.
I think I plan on returning in September, but I have a full-time job Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And I've been in the serving industry for the past
Since
5
I've
years.
known you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's nice to have a little change in structure and kind of have those weekends off, have stat holidays off.
Yeah. Not have to work till 4 a.m. when you want to be doing stuff.
Yeah. So I just wanted to change the pace for a bit. I might go back. I love the people there, but I needed a break.
Doing stuff like sleep, you mean? At 4 a.m.? Like,
Well,
Lord.
yeah, it messes up your schedule when you go to bed at like 4 a.m, and then
Yeah.
it's 12 o'clock, and you're like, oh, I got to go back to work in 3
Yeah.
hours.
So what I want to know is like, since you're not going to piss off any regulars there, like serving, how creepy can people get with serving?
So scary sometimes.
And this will be part 3.
Yeah, sometimes it's so scary. Like, and people have this like sense of entitlement. Oh, and just like even stories from my friends too, of them being like, of people tipping you with their number and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
No way.
you are, yeah, or like just, trying to get your number out of you and being like, hey, like I'll tip you really good, like blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wow, 10%. Like you're hot. You got me.
This guy's hung like a pony. He's fucking.
Yeah, some people just say weird things. I remember, you know what? It's when some guys want to talk like politics with you. And it's like so weird. They'll be like, what are your political views? I'm like, is that a pickup line? Like,
Huh?
yeah, like they'll just like try and talk to you about the most random stuff. And then, I don't know. Just
Is it more just like expectations
stare at
because
you
like
weird.
they
It's-
gave you money, so now you owe them something? Is what
yeah,
they're thinking.
I've had
You're
people.
my friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I paid you, so now you're under my control. No, yeah, I've dealt with like really weird people, but I've also dealt with really weird people just like being out at the bar. Like I remember one time many years ago when I went to Beer Cate still. Yeah, I was sitting there with a friend
So
talking.
this was like last week.
Yeah, you know me. I still like the skee ball and all that. No, we were sitting there just talking at a table, and these two guys come up and they're like trying to talk to us, and I'm just kind of like, we're not really interested. And then he proceeds to go, well, why the fuck are you here then? And I'm like, he's like, why would
way.
he literally is like, why would you come to a bar if you're not trying to get a hit on it? And I'm like, please just get the fuck away from me right now. Men, if you're trying to come at someone, if you think because two women are out, that means you should approach them, just don't. Just don't do it. Because it was the most.
DM them.
Yeah.
I saw you at Beer Cate. Pictures zooming
I
in
just
on them.
exposed Jacob. Okay, it was Jacob, guys. That's who
Okay,
did
fair
it.
enough.
Yeah. I
Okay,
told
but-
you I'd call you out one day.
But you're here now. So.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. I don't know if we're like.
Yeah. I guess we've pretty well covered everything that we've, planned out for today, but I'm thinking we should fire up a part 2.
I have
'cause
so much more to say.
We have so much to say, so little time, but yeah, I'd definitely love to have you back on for a part 2.
I would love to come back.
what did you think being on the podcast? Did you like it?
I think
Were we
it's so
friendly?
fun. Oh yeah, you were great. And
Your
honestly,
first experience.
No, it was so fun, and it was so funny because my little chicken was saying, he's like, you never want to shut up, so this might be the perfect opportunity for you because all you can do is talk. And I'm
Sorry,
like,
do you guys live together?
no.
Okay, I was gonna say it would be nice because then you can go home, you're talked out, and then you can just play Warzone.
I hate COD. I hate
That
it.
is where we're cutting
That's
this
it.
off.
Yeah, no, I liked being on it. I honestly always kind of thought about like having my own, but I just never do it
I
because
feel like since we've started this, like so many people, like we were talking about this before, being like, oh my god, like I want to be on the podcast. I've always wanted my own podcast. Like it's like something.
it's just
a lot
fun. I love like talking to myself in my car when I'm driving and just like thinking, planning out like a story time of like what a YouTube video would look like or something. I think these are so fun, and it's just like a fun way to see multiple different opinions
Yeah.
and like get a new perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So expect to see Mac back on for part 2.
Unless you all hate me. I
Also,
think I'm-
drop a comment below if you want to do so.
subscribe or anything. I don't know. What do we do?
Swipe up, subscribe, stay tuned for future content.
All of the above.
All the above. We'll pop up your Instagram up here. We'll plug all that.
Yeah. I don't really let people I don't know follow me, so don't worry about it, guys.
Okay, follow her Visco. I don't know.
Follow my
It's
Twitter.
like have you seen that thing that's like it's like her Instagram's private, but
But her Visco's in
but
her
her
bio.
Visco's
Yeah, I
open. It's
love
like
that.
it's like a gate with nothing around it.
I love
So that's the case. I'm gonna plug that for everybody. But anyways, yeah. Stay tuned for next. I think in the next couple weeks we're gonna be on the Long and Hard podcast as well. So
Oh, I think I know who those
yeah,
two
we were talking to them recently. So I think we're gonna fire that up, and we've got a lot of new episodes planned. So stay tuned for that.
And keep the requests coming.
Maybe we'll have a little bit more of like a sex podcast.
Yeah, I was
next
thinking
time.
we got a little heavy with this one. Everyone was busting out the
So much.
tissues,
Oh,
which is okay. I'm into it, but I'm thinking we could fire up.
Get a little bit more kinky next
We can
time.
get kinky with it and fire it up next time. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that for sure.
Can't wait.
Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Deuces.